Shrutismritipuranānaṁ Ālayam Karunalayam Namāmi Bhagavatpādam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bādarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryaṃ Karavāvahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvisha. Om Shanti Shanti. Atma is Jyotis Swarupaha. It is in the form of Jyotihi, light. Light of consciousness, obviously. This is to distinguish from what comes to light from the light that brings to light. The light that brings to light is different from what comes to light. What comes to light is the entire scheme of things. Any one thing particular at a time, or together to the extent that you know. If you know more, more comes to light. It doesn't improve the light. More objects come to light. If you come to know more about this world, and that knowledge comes to light. Knowledge of the world means the objects come to light. But what lights up is always avinashi. It doesn't undergo any change whatsoever. And everything else is changing. This light of consciousness and the object of consciousness implies a certain duality, one different from the other. The shift in our understanding about ourselves doesn't really make any difference when this duality is not properly understood. what I see, what I know is different from me. The world is different from me. Now I come to know, in the light of what we have so far discussed, that the self is one of consciousness, light of consciousness. And this body also is an object of consciousness, cannot be taken as the self. It is not a constituent of the self. And therefore, the body doesn't feature in the self-evident, self-revealing consciousness that exists. This shift seems to be a very meaningful shift. With some crude form, this is what is proposed in simple Vedanta talks that we hear. Atma is consciousness, mano buddhya ahankar chittani now. So Atma is consciousness and everything else I am not. So this is what it is. It looks the same. It's not the same. As we will see. So it doesn't make any difference. Before I said this, I am different from the world. This I am included the individuality which consists of varieties of things. Varieties of things means you can list a few of them. Then any one item you take that consists of varieties of things, okay? Any one item. You list a few things like legs and hands and everything. Then you take leg itself, it has got varieties of things. If you have got any doubt, see an anatomy book for 95 pages. Written all about the leg, okay? Not that they have completed everything that is there. They have completed what is there in a frog. And from there an extension to you, human. But I say, so it is a combination of things. There is no individuality. Just to look into it, it's nothing like an onion. Onion at least has got some core. There is no core. Peel after peel, there is nothing. But the stem, the being, is, I said, the self, that is the self-revealing consciousness, I. It doesn't feature any of these items in the list of individuality. Therefore, I am the body and everything else is different makes me insignificant. Because I am one among the limitless, infinite number of things in the world. I become persecuted, I always have a sense of persecution. And everything else is overwhelming me. And then I listen to Vedanta, I come to discover that I am consciousness and everything else is not me. This is a typical setup to have dissociation. Some missionaries point out this because they are afraid of Vedanta. And therefore they had set up a research team to debunk Vedanta, to say that it causes dissociation and thereby emotional damage to people. Yeah. Because there is dissociation. I am not this, I am not that. They quote also. And we have got all the verses. Mano buddhya gankar chitta ninaham nacha shrotra jihve nacha grana netre. All these verses are there. They will quote all this. I read one article like this. Dissociation. That's why it's so important. While one side is true, that the self doesn't contain as its feature any one item in the list of the constituents of the individuality. Any one. Therefore the self is free. From all this. But still, what is all this? This question, I am free from all this. Who is making this statement? The man who has got the pressure to make a statement is the one who is suffering from the pressure to be free from all this. And the fellow is up to neck step with all this. And he says, I am free from all this. I am free from it. He is steeped. And therefore it doesn't work. This missionary, this particular, this paper seems to be making some sense. Yeah, it may be making sense if that is Vedanta. Fortunately, but it is not Vedanta. Natatad dvitiyam asti. In this section. Natatad dvitiyam asti. There is no second thing at all. So, where is dissociation? Unless there is association, there is no dissociation. For association, there should be a second thing, belonging to the same order of reality. Then only you can count 1, 2, 3. You cannot count 1, 2, 3 when there is no, when you count differently. My pots are there, I think. So I shifted my position, So I came down a little bit. Small ones. I need only 3. No, no. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Enough, yeah, I've got. These are all my tools, audio-visual tools. Wow. You see, I am an antique and I am an ancient. So I love these modern parts. This is an old Upaniṣad, okay. What is this? Pot, P-O-T. All right. What is this? Pot. What is this? What is this? Huh? Pot. This I don't want to count. We need only 3. Why 3? Because in Sanskrit, plural is 3. Plural is 3. Dual is only 2. Understand the thing, why non-dual we say. Plural is 3. Because 2 is not plural. Aham, avam. This is how every Indian becomes. First he is singular, aham. Single. Single. Then afterwards he gets married, avam. Sanskrit, aham, avam. Then afterwards, plural, vayam. Understand? Plural doesn't change, it's plural. Moonu, nalu, minimum 3. Okay. Count. How many are there now? 1, 2, 3 pots. All of them pots. This fellow gives complex to all these 2. And therefore, in order to retain his mental health, he won't look at that fellow, look at this fellow. Huh? This is how we do. This is how we make friendship also. Therefore, so this fellow, when this fellow is there, you feel good. That's why whenever you feel that you have not made well here in USA, having come here so many years, nothing happened, then you think of your brother-in-law there, then okay, I'm okay. 1 into 45. You are 45 times better. Okay? Now this is all among themselves problem, comparisons, etc. Especially this one will have a lot of problems. This requires definitely some Upanishad teaching. Nothing less than that is going to make this psychologically stable. This is problem. It has a very well entrenched sense of being a nobody. I am a nobody. Being told by everybody. And also it is true. I am nobody. And this fellow all the time tells you are a nobody. You are a nobody. Then only he can feel somebody. Because he saw this fellow. You are nobody. When you put down somebody, that means you need that pressure. Because you feel nobody. Therefore you have to put down somebody so that you feel okay. It's all a pressure, inner pressure. There is no necessity to put down anybody. This fellow. Therefore, this is really bought, this has bought all these ideas. And its own understanding of itself has made it feel I'm a midget. I'm a nobody. I can go in and come out. Now, this would be the teaching. To make this free, completely free, from being small and nobody. And then, this teaching is important. What is that teaching? Yeah? Are you sure you are small? Yes. Who are you then? Then by a process of teaching, if I could make this pot recognize the fact, the reality of itself, and the self being nothing but whatever it is there, then what is there? What is there? Pot. Pot. Pot is a word. It has a meaning. And this meaning expands. This is also pot, this is also pot, this is also pot. This is pot, that is pot, even a belly is pot. Therefore, pot has a meaning. It has a meaning which has a form and which includes function too. But that pot, listen to me very carefully, that pot, does it have a being? Does it have existence of its own? This is pot. The pot must be having a weight. It has a weight. What is the weight of this pot? What is the weight of this pot? Let us say some 5 pounds. 5 pounds. Pot is 5 pounds. Or clay is 5 pounds. Eh? Clay 5 pounds. Then if clay 5 pounds, what is the weight of the pot? The weight is taken by the clay. The weight, the whole weight belongs to the clay. And therefore, what does pot weigh? What does pot weigh? 0. My God. 0? I said, I am 170 pounds. Now pot, I just gave you one line, that's all, for you to think what it is. But this pot thought, I am 5 pounds. No, pot has no weight. The weight belongs to something else. What is it? That is Satyam. Listen, that is Satyam, that which exists, that is clay. Mrittika eva Satyam. That clay is Satyam. It exists. And the pot is not on the clay. It is not sitting on the clay. It is not of the clay. It's not different from the clay. It's clay. Pot is clay. But clay is not pot. Correct? No, it's a big pot, a small pot. I am pot. If this pot has got this feeling, I am pot, I am clay is the truth. Pot is a privilege, okay? I have the privilege to be a pot. I am clay. Pot is subject to mortality, correct? If the pot has a mind, and especially the mind like we have, then the pot will be now worried. The Swami is talking, still keeping me in my hand, his hand. When is he going to drop me? He's going to drop me, he's going to drop me. He's going to drop me. This fellow will be mortally afraid because he knows I am a mortal. He is a mortal. Pot is a mortal. Clay doesn't have that problem. I am clay. Even mortality is an enlightened pot. Even mortality is fun. You know? Because I am not a mortal. Where is the question? Now, this is clay. This is what? Clay. And this is what? Clay. Now, I have to make this one understand. You want to? Not easy, I tell you. Not easy. Not easy. I've been trying. Not easy. But if I'm able to cut across all its core issues and cognitively recognize the fact that the truth is clay, the self is clay, that is the being. And so you are clay. If I am able to say and make it meaningful, and it says, I am, it nods its head, yes, I am clay. Then that I am small is beautiful. Hey, you are midget. No, I am not a midget. I am small and cute. What I can do, others cannot do. I can go into this fellow's mouth before he realizes I can be out. I have the privilege of being small. I am not one among the many. I am the many. I am clay, and all these parts are me. They have no being. I am the being. They are all me, in me, of me, by me. Only me. Na dvitiyamasti. There is no second thing at all. Count the pot, 1, 2, 3. Count the clay. 1. Then what? 1. Then what? Then what? 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 1. Okay? This is not simple. especially when this part is a little worried, so I would like to. Yeah. It has been waiting. I'm not using it at all. This is another problem. They all came from India with a big send-off from other parts, going to United States of America, and then goes on. And they came here, ended up in an ashram. And all right, ended up in an ashram, all right, at least we will be doing something to the ashram, and sitting under a table, no job satisfaction. That's the lot of the pot. Therefore, in this section of Jyotir Brahmana, what is self-evident is, consciousness is, that is self-existent. What is self-evident, what is self-evident, is consciousness, is, that exists. Therefore, if we say consciousness is chit, it is also sat, it is self-existent. If that is self-existent, everything else also is self-existent. If everything else is self-existent, then there is duality. If nothing else is self-evident, and what is not self-evident is not self-existent, na dvitiyam asti, natad dvitiyam asti. There is no second thing from that. Therefore, what becomes evident is always draws its being from this self-revealing, self-existent consciousness. Therefore, there is no second thing. 1 plus 1 doesn't exist, sir. There is no dissociation. There is no such thing as duality. The beauty is that there can be a subject-object relationship without denying the truth of what is non-dual. This is brought out very beautifully in the section by different examples, citing the state of experience, dream, for us to appreciate what it is. Natad dvitiyam asti. This truth is the sum of this section. When one goes to dream, one has to sleep first. You can't enter from the waking to dream. There is no corridor. From the waking experience, you can't walk into the dream. There is no connecting corridor. You have to fall asleep. Then only you can enter into dream. When you enter into dream, you create a world of your own which has nothing to do with the waking world. In the waking world, when you were awake, you had a very heavy dinner with a lot of what you call the liquids on the top of it. So you had a big dinner, and then you go to sleep, and in the dream you feel that you have not been eating for 3 days, having fallen from a mountain, climbing trip. You went on a mountain and then you slipped and you came down and you broke your ribs and you're lying down, there is nobody, you are crying. 1 day is gone, 2 days are gone, 3 days are gone. You are starving. The whole dream is due to indigestion. But then, in the dream, you have not eaten at all, nothing to do with the stomach. Now, so this is the dream, a world of your own. You are a self-revealing consciousness, I said. In the deep sleep, that I didn't experience anything particular is the experience. In dream, the same self-revealing consciousness is in the form of a dreamer, in the form of dream experience, in the form of objects of dream experience. Dreamer, dream experience, objects of dream experience. Swapna drashta, darshanam, drishyam. The swapna drik is a dreamer, and the dreamer is a conscious being. So in the presence of the dreamer is the presence of consciousness. Seems to have a status now of dreamer, taijasaha. Tejomaya antakarana vritti rupatvat, taijasaha. In the form of a dreamer. Consciousness in the form of dreamer. Clay in the form of pot. Clay in the form of cup. Clay in the form of plate. Clay in the form of a jar. Clay in the form of an ant hill. Clay all the way. Consciousness is. Dreamer, consciousness is. Then dream consciousness is, naturally being a dreamer, must be endowed with a dream, must have a dream experience. And therefore dreamer is dreamer because there is dream experience. And dream experience is what? Is other than the dreamer. That's what the dreamer thought. Okay. That's what the dreamer thought. Mandu, this dreamer thought like that. And the mountain, he fell down and all that, and so dreamer thought. But really speaking, and the dream experience is the same consciousness, dream experience, pleasant experience, unpleasant experience, indifferent experience. So all these experiences, ishtam, anishtam, all these experiences are but what? One consciousness. We will see that more. Then the dream object you take. A dream car. You have been dreaming about a car. Dream car. Then you got the dream car. Then you have a dream, you have been dreaming about a dream house. Every woman wants a dream house. They say that, I don't know. Man also must be thinking. So, man also must be having dream house. So they have a dream house. By the time you have the dream house, all the children are out. They are all out of the nest. And then now and then they call you. You have a dream house, huge house, dream house. Stuck with it. If you want to sell it, you can't sell it. Whether it is a small house, you can sell it. Big house, nobody wants to buy. Why? Because nobody buys somebody's dream house. Somebody who wants to buy a dream house will build. It won't be the same dream. Therefore, the buyer's dream is there. And that dream, this dream don't match. And therefore, and so the one who wants to buy a big house is the one who is going to build a dream house. And they should suffer the same thing as the others do. And therefore... नहीं है, ये कुछ नहीं. Anyway, so the dream house is nothing but the dream house. In the dream is nothing but the every brick is consciousness. The surface of the brick is consciousness. It's like a wave on water. And the whole wave is but water. And the whole house, the walls are all same consciousness. The color is consciousness. The wallpaper is consciousness. All the German design is consciousness. And the whole blessed thing, all the important stuff is consciousness. Everything, the furniture is consciousness, and the color is consciousness, carpet is consciousness, and everything is consciousness, and the painting, varnish, and the smell, and the problem, and the sneeze, everything is consciousness. The sneeze is consciousness, everything is consciousness. Correct? What is the frontier for this consciousness? Where does it end? Where does the world begin? Somewhere it should end and somewhere the world should begin, therefore your duality should exist. What is it that separates consciousness from the world or the world from the consciousness? What is it that separates? What is the distance between clay and the pot? What is the distance? Zero distance. And what is it in the dream? And the stars and galaxies and all that you can see, look up. You have a galaxy. And somebody said, it's not real. Oh, then what is it? Which is real? In the waking it is real. How do you say this is not real? Because this is only my mind. So this is my mind. That means anything that is created by your mind is false, is correct? Anything that is created by my mind is false. Then anything that is understood by your mind is true? Mandu? But this is the truth. And the truth is, there is no dividing line between the object of consciousness. It can be a micro object, an electron. It can be a galaxy. The distance is zero. Consciousness is. Add a galaxy, galaxy consciousness is. Consciousness is. And you are seeing a mountain, mountain consciousness is. Consciousness is. The mountain goes, a mountain goat, you know this Ladakh goat, Satush, that goat is, that goat consciousness is. Goat goes, wool comes. Wool consciousness is. Wool goes, and then if you think of the warmth of your body, the warmth consciousness is, body consciousness is, consciousness is. Add consciousness is. Remove consciousness is. What is this consciousness? Pūrnajotiḥ. It's not bound by time. Time you bring in, time consciousness is. Distance you bring in, distance consciousness is. Time distance consciousness is. Gone, consciousness is. No addition makes an addition to the consciousness. Any removal doesn't make any dent to consciousness. It is Purnam before. It is Purnam now. It will be Purnam later. Why? Because consciousness is Satyam. Then what about this dreamer? Dreamer is consciousness, but consciousness is not a dreamer. Consciousness is consciousness. And therefore, one side, it is self-existent, self-evident. The other is dependent. Okay. The dreamer is a privilege, an additional embellishment. This is where Ishvara walks in. The sarvajñatvam of, if you look at this limitless consciousness from the Jagat standpoint, then the limitless consciousness is all knowledge. Why? Because what you call Jagat is nothing but knowledge. Jagat is like pot, word and meaning. And everything else in individuality you take, every item of the constituents constituting the individuality, every one of them is but a word and meaning, ready to yield itself to another word and meaning, and which itself will yield itself to another word and meaning. Again, which can be subject to divide into so many words and meanings, you can go to micro world and disappear. You can keep going. It's all knowledge. That's why knowledge is fascinating, because it is Ishvara. This limitless consciousness is all knowledge from the standpoint of the world. From its own standpoint, it is limitless consciousness. When you are living in the world as an individual, then you are dealing with the limitless consciousness that is Ishvara. That is all knowledge. And within that is your small little knowledge. Your knowledge can be small, but it can have this knowledge, that this small knowledge is but all knowledge, is but all knowledge consciousness. And what I say is nothing but knowledge. That is knowledge. That is the knowledge. And everything else is vyavahara yogya jnana. For an individual, there can only be vyavahara yogya jnana. There is nothing more one can gain. But this is jnanam. So, yad jnanam, yena jnanena, sarvam vijñātam bhavati. By which knowledge you can say, I know all that is here. All that is here is one thing, and that is Bhagavan. And who is all knowledge? It is one consciousness and all knowledge. Look at your dream, and that is the truth in waking also. It is Bhagavan. It is in the form of, in the dream, you are Bhagavan. In the waking, Bhagavan is Bhagavan. In the dream, when you are dreaming, you have created a few fellows. And these fellows are all wondering at the world that you have created. And these are all your own creation. These fellows are all sitting there. One fellow is talking, and then he says, oh, look at the world. How beautiful. What a color. What colors? What? Who created all this? And one fellow says, do you know who created this? Yes. It's God in heaven. God in heaven? Yeah, did you see him? I didn't see him. But how do you say that God in heaven created this? How did you say? God in heaven created this world. Why? Because God told. God told to you? No. He told some special person. He told. And then? And he told us. And then? I am telling you. They all kinds of one fellow. This fellow will always be there. And then wherever you go, you will be there. You go to Timbuktu, you will be there. You will be there. And another fellow comes. He has got something. Another third fellow is there. Fourth fellow is there. Everybody tells one thing. And one fellow says, I can't say I'm a believer of God. I can't say I'm a disbeliever of God. I keep my mind open. That is his philosophy, you know. All his lifetime he keeps his mind open, so that nothing enters, you know. Nothing sticks there, because he is open. He is committed to openness, okay? Openness is not to understand. The openness itself is the philosophy. Is a philosophy. And it's called agnostic. All these fellows are there. It's all your creation. You are God to them. You are there in every one of them. Your consciousness there in every one of them. Your knowledge is there in every one of them. Your knowledge, which is this Jagat, the whole Jagat is your knowledge. The dreamer's knowledge. You are Ishvara to all of them. Your knowledge is manifest. There is nothing more than knowledge. The mountain is just knowledge. It is surface of consciousness. And mountain is just magic. That's what we call Maya. And therefore, it is like in the dream. Here, Bhagavan, given, and what is given is all knowledge that is Jagat, which is Bhagavan. Which includes your body, your mind, senses, all the factors that give rise to an individuality. That's the beauty of the Srishti, of the Jagat, Bhagavan's all knowledge. And therefore, there is a freedom intrinsic to the reality of yourself, because it has no frontier, it has no limit, it has no boundaries. It's a boundless, limitless presence, which is a presence of yourself. And time becomes a luxury of magic, and everything else therein is just a plus without any addition. And therefore, natatad dvitiyam asti. There is no second thing at all. There is only one thing that counts, that happens to be you. We'll see. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.